Only one single digit left to be awarded. Who might it go to?
You are Locked On Nebraska, your daily Nebraska Cornhuskers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good morning, and thanks for making Locked On Nebraska your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is right around the corner. Visit FanDuel today and start planning your futures bets now.
All right, welcome in. Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Connor Happer of 1620 The Zone is with me. It is Thursday, August 14th. All kinds of back-to-school activities are happening around us. What's your perspective, Connor, on back to school? Happy birthday, by the way, much belated birthday to Sophie Happer, fan of the show.
Huge.
She turned 1, and
Yes.
Someday you will be deeply absorbed in the back-to-school events that are going on around you this week. Are you aware, oblivious? How does it go?
I have time, which is good, and I'm definitely more aware of it now. Since I have a kid, which makes me more appreciative of the time that I don't have to worry about it really in the morning. The only way it affects me right now is traffic's a little bit heavier in the mornings and in the afternoons. So we're just living the simple life for another 4 or 5 years here.
Man, yesterday's traffic, you didn't want any part of that. There was something happened that didn't have to do with back to school in Omaha. I believe there was animal
That's right.
waste or parts
Guts.
all over the interstate.
Yes.
Guts is what it was called. Yeah. I did not experience that, but my wife did on the way home. So, All right. We got single digits today. Single digits. 4 of them at Nebraska were awarded on Wednesday. Javin Wright, the 7th-year senior, got number 0, somewhat appropriately, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. That seems like the perfect number for a 7th year. And he's also like an unconventional linebacker too. He's got a kind of odd body type. I love it. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Yep. We'll talk about all of these guys here in a few minutes. Jacory Barney got number 2. Janiran Bonner, fellow receiver, along with Barney, got number 4. And then Vincent Shavers, who had kind of a pseudo single digit last year.
Right.
He wore 1 after Jamari Butler wanted to switch to 10. He was truly confirmed as a single digit yesterday. V9, they call him, and he will wear number 9. These are voted on by the teammates of these players. These guys are, in some way, shape, or form, the toughest players on the roster. You could say they're the leaders. They're like the captains in place of not having season-long captains. They do week-by-week captains in the Matt Rule system. So it's a big rite of passage, a big part of preseason camp if you're just getting up to speed here on year 3 in Matt Rule. So earlier in the week, single digits went to Riley Van Poppel, the D lineman. He got number 5. Dane Key, the new receiver, transfer from Kentucky, got number 6. And then returning single digits from last year in the secondary, Marquise Buford, number 3. Malcolm Hartzog, number 7. Deshaun Singleton, number 8. He's a 3rd-year single-digit recipient. Singleton had a single dig in Rule's first year in 2023. So all but number 1 have been revealed. Has number 1 been determined? We will get to that later in the show. Let's first talk about these 4 new single digits, starting with, as we already discussed a bit, Javin Wright, son of Toby Wright, ex-Nebraska standout in the secondary, and Javin is on his way in year number 7 at Nebraska to truly carving out his own legacy. I think he's already done that with all that he's endured on the medical side, dealt with blood clots throughout his career that kept him out of so much. Last year was not even able to practice, but he did play in the second half of the season. So he looks to be a dude. He's going to be a guy here this year in the middle of the Nebraska defense, playing inside linebacker along with along with Shavers and Marcus Watson-Trent. They've got a nice combo at that position, and Javin is number 0.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see him for like an extended period of time because it's never really happened. So let's get him out there and roll him out. And obviously his teammates think really highly of him. When we mentioned just like the aesthetic parts of the single digit numbers earlier, that's honestly the first thing that I think about with this. Like, it's great, obviously, that they are, elected as single digit number one by their teammates, and it gives you quite a bit of insight on, the dynamics of the team and who people look up to and leaders are and stuff like that, which makes it cool that Vincent Shavers got one. That's a young, and Jacory Barney, although that maybe, makes sense based off his production.
Second year Huskers. We talked about that class. It's been a recurring theme here in the August conversation. These second year players, and there are others, but those two are the ones out of that group who have now officially been given single digits. Yeah, there's a lot in that class, among the players who redshirted and didn't redshirt. So, you talk about the aesthetic of the single digit, and that's where it started. Matt Rule discussed this, and he has discussed it several times in his 3 years at Nebraska, but it came up in the Matt Rule walk and talk series that we're getting in camp here. In his little video that he did Wednesday, he re-explained how in his days as an assistant coach at Temple, often you would have a player who had earned the right to wear a single digit over several years because of the body of work and the leadership and everything he had put in. It was unofficial. There was no true stated reason to get this number. And then a recruit would come on campus and coaches would really want the recruit, and the recruit would say, hey, can I wear number 2 or not? Can I wear number 1? And the coaches would feel compelled to say yes, because that helps you get the recruit. And it's something that you could do within the rules at that time. Now there are no rules, but then there were rules. And they could, if they needed to give them something, they could give them a single digit. Well, Rule got sick of that and was like, look, these older players have earned the jerseys, and we need a reason to explain to the recruits why they've earned the jerseys. And then someday you can have number 1, but come to our program and earn it from your teammates, and then you can wear that number.
Yeah, teams do, helmet stickers and all the various things. There's some great traditions in college football as it pertains to, teammates voting on their teammates and leadership structure and all that stuff. And this is Nebraska's newer with Rule, unique sort of spin on it. I think it's cool. I think there's like some snafus from like we said before, an aesthetic standpoint. Like, offensive linemen can't participate. In Rule's first year, Ethan Piper got one, but he had to stay the number he was. He had to stay number 57. So they gave him an honorary, nice job. And then they just gave the number to somebody else. So it doesn't exactly work as a 1-to-1. But it's a cool tradition, and those guys definitely stand out on the field.
You know what? Offensive linemen, they don't need that visual recognition. They do their work. They do their work behind the scenes. They don't need a pat on the back. So that's one way to spin that. But it is 45% of your starting offense. So we'll get to that here in a minute about the offense-defense split and how it's a little bit different this year in 2025. So a couple offensive guys. Let's talk about Barney and Bonner. Jacory Barney, number 2, Janiran Bonner, number 4. They obviously love what Jacory Barney gives them from a playmaking standpoint, but he's taken that his contributions to the team to a different level this year. He's like the ultimate cheerleader for Nebraska football. He is the hype man. He's the guy that gets them going on special teams with his attitude, with his constant energy. He is an Energizer bunny, and that's a little bit different side to Jacory Barney than what we saw a year ago when he was just running around hard to catch out on the field.
Right. I think that's a great spot to go from with Barney. I said this on my show a couple weeks ago. I think if you were to comb through the entire roster, and, this is a very specific question. I obviously answered it with Barney in mind, but, think about guys who you are sure that they're going to have at least as good of a year as they did last year, and almost assuredly better, right? Like I'm just so sure that Jacory Barney is going to be a really, really good player at Nebraska, and he's only a sophomore. He would be my answer on the team. Like it just seems like a slam dunk to me. And that's all he does is go out there and produce. And I think he's electric on the field. But that was just scratching the surface for him last year. I'm so excited to see what he does with a couple playmakers around him, a more a more focused offense and all that stuff. Like Barney is really, really exciting to me.
And Bonner is the Swiss Army knife. Dana Holgorsen loves what he can bring. They had him playing running back in practice on Tuesday when we were out there watching, but he's a receiver and he's going to line up all over the field. Like he can play tight end, he can play H-back, he can play fullback. They could put him as an I-back. Like he can probably play quarterback and offensive tackle if they needed him to do that. So they and his teammates clearly respect the fact that he is so versatile. So he's number 4. We mentioned Shavers, number 9, going to be a huge piece of what Nebraska does at the linebacker position, whether he's on the field for the first rep or he comes in on the second series, and he very well may be a starter. Like this would kind of give you a hint that he is a starter, but I don't even think it really matters. They're going to use him in a lot of packages. He's going to be a pass rusher from the middle who creates havoc and just is everywhere, I would say, on the defensive side.
Yeah, that's another guy I can't wait to watch. I mean, the recurring theme on this podcast over the last week or so here, these just noting these guys who are in this sophomore class in their second year. I mean, really excited to watch Shavers this year. I think it's interesting that he was the one who got picked out of all of the guys that were pretty sure who were going to be really good and our leader types on that defense. Obviously, you've already given one to Javin Wright, and you've given one to Riley Van Poppel, and then the guys who have had him in the defensive secondary like Buford, Hartzog, and Singleton. But it's interesting that he was sort of selected as that guy, clearly viewed as somebody who people sort of look to for not necessarily for guidance, but like, hey, this guy's going to go out there and make plays. We trust him to do that. So he's our guy.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about number 1, where it might be going, and also the offense-defense split, how that looks a little bit different this year. That's coming up next. Locked On Nebraska podcast.
But first, a word from our friends with the FanDuel Sportsbook. Yeah, we are bearing down on football season, but as of right now, we're still in the summer kick a little bit. Remember, week 0 is coming up next week in college football, but there's baseball, there's golf, there is soccer going on right now as well. All available for you on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Betting on daily baseball is simple. Home run hitters, winners, run line, whatever it might be. If you were maybe wagering on the Washington Nationals yesterday to jump all over Seth Lugo, well, you probably did a nice job on that bet. Maybe you place a same game parlay on it. It's all up to you with the FanDuel Sportsbook, and get yourself ready, of course, for football season right around the corner as well. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. If your first bet wins, open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Mitch Sherman with you here on the Locked On Nebraska podcast. We'll be taping the mailbag show at some point today if you're seeing this. So if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching this podcast, you no longer have any time to wait to get in your question on the mailbag. It's go time right now. We will also continue to monitor the story of one Archie Wilson that has I just happened to be watching the Australian Today show yesterday.
Yeah, it's daily viewing for sure.
And what do I hear but my podcast co-host's voice on the Australian Today show yesterday?
They tracked down. Yeah, well, let's talk about it in the third segment. We're going to give you something. We're going to give you something to wait for. Stick with us, and we'll get back to Archie Mania.
Okay, sounds good. Who's wearing number 1? Everybody's got an idea in their head. Is it actually going to happen? Will it be Dylan Raiola wearing number 1 for Nebraska this fall?
I think it's going to the offense. That seems to be clear. You look around the rest of the defense and like, yeah, you could give it to Elijah Judy. You could give it to another one of the transfers like Marcus Watson-Trent or Jason McCullough. You could probably give it to Willis McGahee. You could give it to Sierra Wright. Like all of the other starters in the secondary, basically, minus Andrew Marshall, who's a newcomer, have single digits. But I think it's going to go to the offense. There's 3 on the offense and there's 6 on the defense. And we mentioned how the offense is at a deficit already because 45% of its starting lineup is ineligible as offensive linemen. Last year it was 9-1, the breakdown, defense to offense. Jamal Banks was the only offensive player to get a single digit. And it was a defensive driven team. That was the focus of Matt Rule's strategy in his first 2 seasons as a head coach. Like they went as far as their defense could take them. And this year it's a little different. This year with Dana Holgorsen, there's more focus on the offense. I think there's more expectation around the offense. And I think this will be reflected in the single digits when they all shake out. It'll be 6-4. It's going to go to somebody on the offense. I think it's going to go to Dylan Raiola, but it could be Emmett Johnson. It could be Luke Lindenmeyer as the leader at that tight end spot. Like it's not going to another receiver, I don't think. And we mentioned that it can't be the lineman. So that limits the other options, but it's probably Dylan. Like he's breaking up with Patrick Mahomes, like putting number 15 on the shelf. He wore number 1 for 3 years in high school before he switched to 15 as a senior at Buford High in Georgia in 2023.
He is just kind of one of those guys who's sort of attached to his number,
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, whether it be
strangely since he's worn it for 2 years.
Yeah. But watching tape of him in high school wearing number 1, it always did seem a little bit weird to me. Once again, this is all just me. There's no reason. It's just from like an aesthetic standpoint. 15 looks like a very natural, normal number for him. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be him. That'd be my guess. It's probably one of the reasons why you wait to announce it. It kind of, has some energy behind it and some gravitas. So we'll see when they do that, but it'll be it's a good thing because then it's not a talking point, right? That he was voted the number 1 or voted one of the single digit numbers and then declined and started to stay number 15 and people question, oh, what, come on, your teammates voted you this, like you're just gonna say no. So he takes it and he maybe loses a little bit of, I don't know, brand identity or something like that, but he definitely is
rebranding Raiola. I can see it now.
That's the name of our Friday podcast. Stay tuned.
Yeah. It's probably going to happen today on Thursday or maybe Friday morning. Interestingly, on Friday around noon, and I will not be there, moving my daughter into the college dorms is going to take precedence over being in, and it's not in Lincoln, over being at media availability. So I'll have to catch up on everything that happens, but Dylan is scheduled to speak to the media tomorrow. So is his uncle, coincidentally. And it is coincidentally because this has been scheduled for quite a while. Unless they plan this out. Like, unless they this is like the Easter egg that Nebraska football has been planning for 3 years. They've been planning Dylan Raiola's crowning as number 1 and the 10th of 10 single-digit jerseys to be announced on the last day of camp as well. I guess Saturday's the last day of camp, but whatever. The end of camp, and he's going to speak to the media, and he's going to break down into. Oh no, that happened on Tuesday. But Donovan's going to talk. Donovan can I'm sure weigh in on Dylan getting a single digit if it happens,
Mitch,
and Dana Holgorsen is going to talk. Are we good?
Here we are.
What happened? Are we good?
We're back. I think I froze. I think my internet might be on the fritz at the moment. We're still rolling.
We're back. So Donovan, Dana, and Dylan.
It would be very funny, Mitch, if they based this whole, like, if there was a whole like Taylor Swift like scheme to release something and they based it all around a Donovan Raiola media availability, which are very uneventful and will continue to be uneventful. But, you never know what
Maybe
they're
Donovan
up to.
will be the one who breaks down and cries. Maybe Archie started a trend and it's going to be Donovan. Like, if we were going to put odds on the least likely people to get teary-eyed at a press conference, where would Donovan Raiola rank?
I mean, dead last, right? It has to be.
That does not happen to the offensive line coach. I'm sorry.
No, it just can't. I mean, not only the offensive line coach, but not him in particular. I don't think
that offensive line coach. Yeah, there are some offensive line coaches in the past who had truly had a soft side, like beneath the hard exterior. Like if you think about Milt Tenniper, like he could be a softie for sure, even though you didn't see it on the outside. Not Uncle Donnie. I don't think so. I don't see that happening. But I think it's going to be Dylan. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a big to do, or maybe they'll do it in a very subtle way. But there's a reason that they didn't announce 5 of them on Wednesday and waited to have 1 left for number 1. So, all right, we've spent 20 plus minutes ignoring the biggest story in college football right now, maybe the biggest story in sports right now, and it is Archie Wilson. That's coming up when we come back after this. But right now, a word about Wayfair. And as summer winds down, you know that there's something nice about getting back into the routine that you love. Wayfair makes it easy to set yourself up for the season ahead. From bedding and linens to storage and solutions for every room, Wayfair is your one-stop shop to refresh your home. Recently, I found myself having to help outfit a college dorm room. Not for me, I'm not going back to school, but for my daughter. We had success shopping on Wayfair. It's convenient, it's easy to find the items that you want. Delivery is fast and free, and right now is the perfect time for you to get your home or your dorm room ready. Whether that's organizing, upgrading your workspace, or making weeknight dinners easier because you've got all of the furniture and the items and everything that Wayfair has to offer right there around you. Get organized, refreshed, and back into your routine for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Welcome back. Thursday episode of the Locked On Nebraska podcast. Mitch Sherman, Connor Happer with you. On Tuesday, if you missed it, and I don't know how you could, you would be the only one to have done that. Archie Wilson, Nebraska's freshman punter who's never played in a football game, went in front of the media in Lincoln and talked for quite a while about his experience in getting to Nebraska, all that went into learning the American college football game. He's played Aussie rules football. He's from Melbourne. Yesterday was his 19th birthday. And then he got very emotional talking about his family back home in Australia. And I will tell you, I could not have been more wrong about what I thought the reaction to this was going to be. As I left Memorial Stadium on Tuesday, and I was in a big rush because there's a lot going on this week. My 10-pound dog had knee surgery on Tuesday, and I was or Monday, and I was rushing back to Omaha to the ortho vet to pick him up. I had a scheduled time at 2:00, and if I didn't get there by 2:00, like, I don't know, he might have had to spend another night so that wasn't going to happen. I had to get out of there, and I was very frazzled by the way things went at the end of the Archie Wilson interview, because I asked the question that sent him down that road. And in the moment, like, it all seemed very awkward and very uncomfortable. And like, I was talking on the phone to a former coworker of mine, and I was like, I just made the freshman punter cry. This is not good. And she was like, oh my God, this is going to like go viral. This is going to be like a huge story. You know, people love this emotion. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, I think this one, like, I don't think that people are going to put this out there. Like, I think it was just all so incredibly awkward. And it was awkward for me, I guess,
because
it was everyone else.
Like he was excellent. Like he's got like this kind of bubbly personality, and he's answering all the questions really honestly and truthfully. And then all of a sudden it's like, bang, he just gets absolutely smacked in the face with the emotion about leaving his family and his little brothers and all that stuff. It was just so crazy. Like, and then it was only, it was just captured inside of those 15 seconds. And then he was like
4 minutes. It was 4 minutes.
He was like, see you guys later. You know, you know.
And then he went out in the hallway and like did a big long interview with the TV station and did a big long interview with Jessica Cootie from the Huskers Radio Network. Like, he was fine. Everybody, I just want you to know that he's fine. Like, he's not still sitting there crying. But I just kind of thought, nah, we're going to just pretend like this didn't happen. It's probably the most wrong about anything that I've ever been in my life about the events of a press conference, because it first went viral like a little bit, like some of the sports locally and regionally, like maybe Big Ten area. And then, you know, Fox Sports got a hold of it, and CBS Sports got a hold of it, and Barstool got a hold of it. And then it was on the Today Show yesterday with Jenna Bush Hager weighing in about it, and just like Twilight Zone stuff. Like, she's talking about Nebraska football. It's the Today Show. And, and then do you want to say what you saw last night?
It's amazing. It was incredible. Like, they had the whole panel there. You know, it was one of those transition segments where they're coming back from a break and they're all sitting there and they're about to, you know, do a whole bunch of, and Jenna Bush, the former president's daughter, is talking about this 18-year-old Husker football punter. And then they like kind of, they go to the panel, like the table, and it's all the other hosts of the Today Show, and Al Roker's out there at the end. I'm like, wait, is there going to be an Al Roker take on this situation? And he seemed unimpressed sort of by the story, which I thought was hilarious. But just, it was such a weird, like, confluence of people and things. And then, you know, I don't know what's more impressive, but obviously it gets back to Australia and they get in contact. The Australian Today Show gets in contact with Archie's family, and they have him all sitting there via satellite, mom, dad, and the two little brothers. And, you know, they're asking the two little brothers, like, does he annoy you in any way? And he's like, yeah, but we can't wait to see him. We really love him. And I'm like, oh my God, this just keeps getting, you know.
And they're wearing Nebraska gear, all of it. Like mom and dad.
There's
like,
remember how we window that says "Go Big Red." It's in Franks in South Wales, whatever it is. You know?
Remember how we've been joking all summer about how Nebraska like ordered this punter, and he came off of like an assembly line, and he was like put together in a like a lab. Like, so was the family. Like, they were like the perfect looking family. Those two little brothers are sitting there, and mom and dad, and they got their Husker gear. I'm still not convinced that they're real, but we're gonna see that they're real. Obviously, they're real when they show up at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yep.
And so they revealed, and if you go on The Athletic, I had to, of course, write about this, and I did, and it's up on the site and the app. The whole story about Archie coming to Nebraska and what Pro Kick is and all of that, and the phenomenon that he became when Matt Rule started talking about him like he's talked about no true freshman ever in Matt Rule's coaching career as a college head coach. And then what happened on Tuesday. So that's all there. And in the article also, it's mentioned that mom and dad, and I was unsure about the brothers, but clearly they're coming too, are all going to be here for the first 4 games of the season. So they're coming in, and I think his dad said 11 days there. So 10 days now they're on their way across the pond to make it to Lincoln and in Kansas City, and then they'll be here for the first three September games.
This is hilarious. What are they going to do in Kansas City?
Barbecue.
So, exactly. But are they going to catch the Royals game, the Royals and Tigers on Friday night? Like,
probably not.
Probably head back to Lincoln at that point. But like, somebody is going to spend a day with this. One of our local media members over the next month is going to spend a day with the Wilsons and just document the entire thing. And maybe my podcast co-host is raising his hand right now.
I'm down. What is going to happen for the reunion with Archie now? I mean, people are going crazy over this family. Like, is TMZ going to be there? Is Australia Today coming in to document the Archie reunion with mom and dad and two little bros? That somebody's going to be there. Like, it's probably going to be is the Nebraska digital team. Like, they're going to have this on camera with when I don't know if they're flying into Omaha. When they came the first time, they flew into Omaha and Brett Maher picked them up at the airport. So I'm sure Archie will go to maybe he'll be in school or practice or whatever it is. But whether it happens in Lincoln or Omaha, there's going to be an emotional reunion between the punter who's never played in a college football game and his family.
I don't know what show that this story is going to show up on today, but I can't wait to find out.
Like, are they all going to be on the Today Show? Like after the opener? Like, what if Archie booms a 70-yard punt in the opener or downs it at the 1 against Cincinnati? Like, they're all going to be Al Roker. They're going to be sitting in Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza, and Al and Jenna and all of them are going to be there interviewing Archie and his fam.
Or they're doing another transition segment. It's like, welcome back to the Today Show. And then we'll send it over to Al Roker for weather, and then he finishes with his weathercast of Lincoln, Nebraska. And he's like, that's where Archie Wilson is. That's where Jenna and everybody else is. And
they went there for a remote.
Yeah, yes, they have a live crew inside of the Nebraska weight room after Archie has like made some sort of unbelievable play in the first game. Yeah, I mean, this has got a chance to really go. It just got to capitalize off it now.
Amazing. It's I don't know anything else that we need to cover with Archie or any of this.
No, I think he's been very well covered at this point.
All right. Good. Okay. Well, we'll continue to monitor what's going on with the punter, and as Connor said earlier, get us your mailbag questions. LockedOnNEB@gmail.com. Questions, please. We appreciate the commentary. And if you do want to work some commentary into the questions, then that's fantastic. But limit it to like 50 or to 75 words because we're not going to do a 2-hour mailbag show. We're going to try to keep it to about this length, 35 minutes. And we want to get all of your questions in. We are 2 weeks from the season opener, so thank you for all of your continued viewing and listening. It's been great to see our audience grow, and we continue to we hope to continue to see that into the remainder of the offseason. So thanks for making Locked On Nebraska your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape by watching the Portal on YouTube or listening wherever you get your podcasts.